Dave did it again. Another DMB show in 2026 where we get a liberation, some hits, and some additional deep cuts. And it ended with a stone cold stunner of a closer. The DMB post-show stream starts now. We got some guests coming on. Stay tuned. Enjoy this stone from SPAC last year, night 1, 2025. We're getting everyone ready to go on. We're getting some things set up, some stats and data, but we'll be on very soon. About 5 to 8 more minutes. And let this boy Jeff Coffin solo on more songs like 41.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. DFW, stand up. Shout out Arlington. Shout out Fort Worth. Shout out McKinney. Plano, what up? Grapevine, stand up. Denton, what up? Waco, what up? Shout out to Oklahoma too, not too far away. If you mix your exit and you accidentally got on I-45 South, sorry, you're going to Houston. You gotta act quick. The Metroplex is no joke. Shout out Amarillo. Lubbock, Texas, stand up. Tyler, Texas, what up? Thoughts and prayers to Cowboys fans. It's not your year again. What up? What up? It's your boy Conserviz 34. This band is doing all it can to really start off this tour stronger than the average tour that you'll see in this current era of the band. Why do I say that? Because we haven't had these liberations so early in the tour. They've eased into them the last couple of years. We have another liberation tonight with Kit Kat Jam. This band is trying not to repeat songs for yet another year. Last year, we saw a strong push on this, right? Where we've had a couple of one-night stands back-to-back nights, and there weren't repeats. And another example is tonight. There were no repeats from the Woodland show. This is great. We have hit songs like Crush. And then we have a song like Kit Kat Jam that hasn't been played full band since 2013. We have the Stone popping in the encore closing spot. And we still have the Rapunzels and the YIAMs for those who, again, are not necessarily here for the deep cuts, but here for the common casual fan songs. Nothing wrong with that. And then you have these oddball songs like I Did It that have an odd attraction to a certain sector of the fan base, which is fine. They're in there too. You can say what you want about this band and, okay, maybe they're not flowing. The sets aren't flowing like I like it. Or they're, all right, they don't have a violin. Yes, it appears from what I think Jake wanted to stick with Lucas Nelson. We can't control that. And if that's a deal breaker, don't go to shows. That's fine. I have friends who don't go to as many shows. But if you want setlist variety, if you want a little bit of everything, if you want a band who is recognizing, hey, we've never played I Did It in Dallas, we're going to play it. We've never played Rye Whiskey in Dallas, we're going to play it here. We're going to rotate P&P into other songs for another year. This is the most creative we've seen the band ever. And so you take it or leave it. If this is just not your flow, not your style of how this current band is operating, I have no issue with people walking away. But if you're looking for variety, if you're looking for this band to challenge itself with the song selections, that's what we've gotten for this tour in just 2 nights. And even if the tour started off slower, I would just say give this band time. They don't practice for 2 or 3 weeks ahead of a tour like many musical acts do. They just kind of show up and they play a festival show and they slide into Texas and play a couple of shows, and they're still working out stuff. But amidst all that, they are giving the fans what they want from different sectors of the fan base, right? I've been known to critique set lists or question certain things or wonder what's going on, but I can do nothing but tip my cap to this band. There's songs on this set list that aren't my favorite, but people who love those songs deserve to hear them. There's songs that I would love to hear live for the first time, like Kit Kat Jam. And it shows up here and the crowd went nuts. Looking at some fan videos in between the couch tour ending and me going live here. But I don't want to talk all day and belabor this. I do want to give some fan perspective from people who are actually there. And so what we're going to do first is I'm setting this up right now, but we're going to unmute some things and get Dane on in just a second. And he was at this show. We're going to look to get a couple other people on later as well to get other perspectives. There's no wrong perspective for people who come on. We just want to hear what fans think from these shows. All right, we are going to set this up. And let's go ahead. We're going to bring on Dane here. Let me know if you guys can't hear him. But Dane, how you doing tonight?
To the tour.
Can you hear me now, Dane?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay,
but
perfect.
I don't think you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I just switched you off mute. What did you think of this show tonight?
The show tonight was amazing. You know, it's like like you said, like there's unique songs like completely from last night to tonight. I went to both shows. I flew in from Arizona to Houston, saw that show, and then drove this morning to Dallas. And I wasn't expecting that. Like I really wasn't. I was expecting like, Warehouse again, maybe a Gray Street again, like past tours have been like, a lot of people complain even that like, where's the diversification? Where are the, all these different songs that you guys can play? But that was not the case. Like they came out swinging, and hardcore fans know like that was swinging what they just did. Like no different. I mean, completely different songs for both nights. It's not a 2-night stand either. This is Dallas. This is 3.5 hours from Houston. So they should have typically they would have played things over again, to practice things or whatever, but they seem on fire. They seem like they practiced this, like they're good to go. There weren't like mistakes. There were a few things that happened, but not like nothing affected anything that I could see, maybe some guitar issue or whatever. But Yeah, it was the Tonight Show was amazing. It was the last night's show was like really high energy. This today's show was, I mean, I think equally. You know, we got a bunch. We got Pig. We got You Might Die Trying. You know, we had a bunch of jams. You know, at the end, you know, Rapunzel, and we had Mercy, a great jam at the end. You know, Granny was a great opener. Like Granny, like, you know, how could you go wrong with Granny, right? Um, Pig was like incredible. That's a song that everybody likes. You know, you send that song to anybody that you know and that does no DMB, and you send them Pig, and they'll at least like that song. Maybe they don't like this band, but you know, that's a great song. That was an amazing ending too. Like I love the ending where he's yelling and wailing. I like that part about Dave in the band. You know, like the genuineness, like the passion, the intensity, but more like the genuineness. Like when he's singing, he's a storyteller, and you can tell that he's a great storyteller, and he's telling you a song with lyrics, but not only lyrics, but also like the way he, you know, passionately does it. So you realize like he believes in it. You know, whether he's, you know, this is just a job to him at this point, or he still does believe it. Like you get that from him. So it was really great. I had good seats, you know, right behind, right by Buddy. The only thing I couldn't see was Tim. So, and Tim did great. You Might Die Trying. And there's so much to say. This is not a normal start to a tour. I would say, like, if you're on the fence, like, you know, should I go see Dave this year? Like, this will all come to an end someday, right? And this is an amazing start. Like, this is like, now I don't know. You know, Marcus, has this like happened? Like, you know, two, you know, one night in Houston, one night in Dallas, like where they have a total unique songs to start the tour. Anyway, it must be rare. So it was good. Anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. And thank you for adding in just context of various portions of the show and your experience here going to both Houston and Dallas. In 2024, the band started to really challenge themselves in this Texas two-step. It's a three-step because we have Austin, but they did have, when they went to the Houston and Dallas at the end of May 31st, June 1st, there were no repeats. But if we go back to 2023, there were 5. And if you go back to previous years of, you know, Houston and Dallas back-to-back nights, there were also typically going to be repeats. So 2024 to present, they skipped last year as far as full band shows in Texas. They are pushing the envelope and giving you a little bit of everything. What was the biggest crowd reaction or the crowd pop to tonight?
Yeah, I knew you would ask me something like this, and to be honest, I was close. I wasn't in the pit, but I was like front row on the left side. So I didn't have a need, like, you know, and I was on the left side. So there's maybe like 2 or 3 rows in front of me till the stage. So I didn't see I didn't see the crowd. I didn't look behind me much because, you know, the focus is on the band, you know, but I did see the pit, and the only time I really noticed was Granny. And I remember Granny, you know, Granny, the end of Granny, everything's awesome. You know, People love it. And everybody had their hands in the air, you know, like, you know, and I knew like those were the fans, you know, those are the people that get it. And I was excited because like, this is the, you know, first song. We have an hour and a half of this bliss, you know, and he starts with Granny and the crowd's into it. So it's like, it's energy, you know, it's great to be in a show where everybody has the energy and you can feed off of that to make yourself, you know, feel even better about the show. So yeah, but I didn't see the crowd, you know, obviously you got the, you know, the claps and the screams and the, you know, all that. But I didn't see that, but only in Granny, where it was pretty like, you know, and it's good. It's a great feeling. You come all this way and you hope for like a good opener. You know, I always hope for Bartender. That's me, or Big Eyed Fish into Bartender. That's every show because that's my number one. But
Yeah.
When Granny came on, it was really comforting. Like, you know, like this is worth it. Like this is amazing. Like the crowd's into it. It's going to be a whole hour and a half of energy and like, you know, like a passion and like, you know, a story. He's telling you stories. All these songs are stories to me. You know, he's telling the story to me, and I just love it.
Yeah, and what's interesting about when you talk about Granny being a special moment crowd-wise, both openers this weekend, So Right and Granny, they get love from people who just want to hear deep cuts. They get love from fans who like more of the more well-known singable songs from the band, and even some of the radio crowd. Even though Granny was cut as a single when they were making Under the Table, Granny is still a song that really could be on the radio if they would have chosen it as they originally planned with Under the Table. And So Right, again, just another song that just people dance to. Everyone's happy about it. So I thought that was awesome that both nights open up with songs that excite everyone. Sometimes they'll open up with a song like Don't Drink the Water. And while, people love that song, some of the diehard deep cutters are like, but I think both nights you really saw those united fronts for the openers. What was the biggest shock traveling from Arizona? What was the biggest surprise of this entire run, Houston and Dallas? What was the biggest thing you said, wow,
Yeah, I know already. Kit Kat Jam. That was like, totally unexpected. Like, nobody in the whole crowd would have expected, like, maybe he's going to play Kit Kat Jam. It's like a dream. Yeah. And I love that song. And that's not a radio song. That's not even a song most like moderately DMB fan, or even above that, an interest in the band would even know that song. It's not a radio, and it was just, it's also a great song. Like the chorus in it, or, whatever that part is, like the chorus, I guess, or the chorus is like, it's stellar. It's like, the rhythm of it, like Best of What's Around, at the end, Dave, is doing his thing. Like it's the rhythm of it, like the repetition, and you just listen to this amazing song. And I really like I like certain parts of every song, and it was great to go to like I said, like 2 cities and get like 2 totally unique shows. That was a really good blessing, like really good, like a good start. Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. And how was the crowd tonight as far as people talking, maybe fights or acts of kindness? What was the vibes around you tonight as far as the crowd?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question, because it wasn't the best. I was, like I said, I was front row. I got a good deal on SeatGeek. I wanted pit because, like, man, why wouldn't you want to be third row, and not have to wait there, like, all day? You show up an hour before the show starts and you're in the pit. You can pretty much, get either front row on the side or maybe like third row. But anyway, so the people to my right they had been to like 100 shows, but I couldn't tell, like, they weren't like, dancing much, and they weren't talkative. I'm at a show, I'm talking to everybody. I'm like, this is the best experience ever, guys. And we're sharing it together. Like you and me get to share this for, forever, our memories, And to my left were a couple that were really not like, they weren't very friendly, to be honest, and they sat the whole show. But, I don't know, maybe the front row, it's not an indication at all. Like, you should go back in the lawn or whatever, go there, go in the pit, like, where the dieharders are, the people that are like, this is the best night of my year here. So yeah, but in the first row also, like, it probably is like they're more expensive tickets, and maybe people that aren't really big fans, they just have a bunch of money and they, what I'm saying? I don't know how it worked out, but around me wasn't the greatest. The pit was good. The pit, people were saying the pit was like, it was empty, but it really wasn't. From my perspective, I was right there. It was full. It was a full pit. People were flowing in there, and I don't know, these ticket prices, like Houston, the pit was like at one point $1,900 for a pit ticket. Wow. Like these are expensive tickets. Yeah. Yep. And it went down drastically, but I don't think it got below like 500 or something for Houston. And I thought that was very rare. And you look at SPAC right now, expensive tickets, like, so if you can get to a show, like this is go, get, shit or get off the pot, like you want to see the band in their glory, like this is like, 2026 tour is great. Like you don't notice the difference, from, there's nobody's getting older, if that makes sense. Like it's all, everybody's performing. They're solid. These are the best in the business, these guys.
All right, and let's close it out here. What's the best memory from tonight for you? The best moment?
Oh my gosh,
that you take away.
You guys got to look at "You Might Die Trying." I was hoping for that song. I told my wife, I was like, and I hope you get like "You Might Die Trying." American Baby intro, I wanted that too. I got everything the first night that I needed to have the second night all paid for. Like it's all icing on the cake. But of the weekend, like gosh. Lie in our graves, like, you don't think like it's going to be good because where's Boyd? Where's the violin? Where's Jake? Right. But Tim, he shreds. He like just destroys that song. That was the best song of the weekend for me, was Lie in Our Graves. But it's a toss up for You Might Die Trying, only because I just love that song. I love the ending. I love the ad lib of it. I love Dave's ad libs. That's what I live for. Like the scat, if you will, and the the making up of lyrics that have like deep cryptic meaning that half the time you don't even know what it means, but it means something to you. He's conveying something to you, you know? I love that stuff. And at the end of You Might Die Trying, it's scat, it's authentic, it's Dave like at his best. He's not thinking about the crowd. He's not thinking about his wife at home or whatever, you know. He's just performing. He's doing what Dave does best. He's given his gift to us, and we pay him millions of dollars every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome when, you know, you make a trip like this, like you just did, and you get some songs you've been hoping for. Everyone has their different hopes and needs and wishes. And so it's great to see that. And I'm glad you were able to come down. West Coast is very limiting for a lot of fans out there. And it is sad California doesn't have any new venues coming out. They're going every other year. Arizona it's kind of like a once every 3 or 4 years, it seems, for them to go to Phoenix. Even Utah, it's like they haven't had a show in a while. And so I'm glad you were able to make the trip, come down to Texas and get some shows. Dane, thanks for being on the post-show stream, and safe travels back home to Arizona.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. And sorry, guys, if you're watching this live stream, I'm going to edit the title. I got to edit to Dallas. It says it's like Woodlands. If you're watching the replay, it'll be corrected there. I will get that there. I can't physically do it right now. It appears, as I have a bunch of different things up. All right. What I want to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get a link out to our guest from yesterday, Jackson. And if you're, that way he can come on and join the stream. And we'll get him on. We're also going to try to see if Jess can send in a video. Our friend Jess from Wisconsin, who's been on the stream many times. She was at this show as well. So we want to try to get her on. But let me go ahead and get Jackson the link. While I'm doing that, I did want to bring up a couple stats here, and we'll get to Jackson after that. And so the Almanac, it's always fun, you know, chatting with some of these guys who I know now after, you know, getting to know them through different shows and other things offline. But they were looking up stats for Dancing Nancy's closing out a set. And it's like, okay, they're going back, they're scrolling through as many shows. And their website is awesome, what you see up here, to be able to navigate that quickly. This is the first time Dancing Nancy's has closed a full band show since 1995. This was a unique show where Boyd was not the only violin on stage. They did not bring out any violin guests when Boyd was a full-time member as individual violin players. But they did play with the Richmond Symphony Orchestra in 95. And there's actually on YouTube, I don't know if it's still up there, but there was a YouTube clip I think Copperpot had put up on his channel or his social media with just some, let me just edit. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. There was there was like a promo clip of the band talking about playing with the Richmond Symphony Orchestra, which is that's just like a once in a lifetime opportunity at that time. Now the band DMB has played with some other orchestras post Roy, and you look at the Hollywood Bowl a couple of times. So, but back then that was a special thing. So that's a long time to not close a set with Nancy's. Gives this set a unique thing. The next thing I wanted to go over is the Stone closing out the encore. The Stone has been in the encore. It's been in like the E1 or E2 spot at times. But I did have a graphic. Let me pull this up. And give me one moment, folks. But I did want to... get this loaded up, because this is another thing. And I got the opening of this show was the Stone from SPAC Night 1 last year. And I thought this was like probably one of the best moments of last year for me, is to get a Stone closer. It is my favorite Dave Matthews Band song here. And let's get this graphic ready. Okay. So here it is. These are all the shows where the Stone has closed out a show in the encore, the final slot of the encore, whatever that is. If there's 2 songs, 3 songs, 1 song. Okay. There's a Dave solo one in London as well that's not listed here. Dave closed out a Dave solo show in 2001, in October 25th, 2001. And it did close with the Stone. But here are all the shows where the Stone has closed out the encore to end. It's a walk-off, Stone Cold Stunner. Live Tracks 3 is the first one, August 27, 2000. The second time is, I believe my friend Mark Madeira was at this show out there in Charlotte. I believe he was there. Maybe he wasn't, but I know he did go to shows in Charlotte back in the day. He may not have, maybe he did move by then, but 9/22/2000. And then in 01, Camden. Oops, I did it twice. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. This is real. This is when you don't have a whole team of people helping you out. But it is, that was the third time, 6/22/01. 7/29/04 in Tampa is the other one. So that's not listed. Let me correct that graphic here. But 7/29/04 is where the Camden is. And then you have SPAC in Dallas. My apologies, folks. This is why it is. This is I'm always good for a couple mistakes each weekend of these post-show streams. Let me just correct that. And here, let's see if we can just put this as a slideshow. Let's see. Oops. Let's take this graphic off. Sorry, folks. And Jess just sent in her movie. Oops. All right, here we go. All right, so there we go. I had to correct it there. Sorry, folks. There it is, 7/29/04 in Tampa. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 performances where Stone has closed out the encore, and then 5/10/26 for 5/9. This is what happens again when you're. I'm on the East Coast, so it's 5/9/26. There we go. There we go, folks. Sorry. Oh man, this is what happens when the Stone closes the show. You don't have all your bearings. That was supposed to be a little graphic from PowerPoint. We'll get that graphic up on Instagram as well for you guys on IG. Let me just set up the final parts of this for Jackson to come on. There was a teleprompter issue on Say Goodbye, by the way. If you guys weren't able to catch the couch tour, there was a teleprompter issue on Say Goodbye, and it kind of messed up. Dave kind of got a little confused there because the prompter stopped working, like the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. Just unproductive, fell apart. And so let's see. Okay. We're going to get Jackson on. He is driving back he left Dallas and he's driving from what he had last told me. But let's get everything set up. Thank you guys for your patience here, and hope you guys are enjoying this. I think someone in the chat, this is not a live stream of the full show. I think someone was like, saw because they saw the date. But this is a post-show stream where we're going to be we share different things from the show and talk to fans live after the show to get their perspective, because they were there, and many of us are at home wanting to know what it was like to be there. All right, let me just do a test with Jackson here. Hello, Jackson, can you hear me? Go ahead and speak again.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So, Jackson, you said your first show was in 2022. So you missed a lot of, just like me, you missed the late 90s, early 2000s. What was it like to get Kit Kat Jam tonight? Something that people were hoping for a decade.
Well, I was just as surprised as probably everybody else that has been listening for a while, because I made a list like of songs that I wanted to hear, like that I haven't heard before these shows started, and I had like a section there called long shots, and obviously Kit Kat Jam was in the long shot category. But when I heard it, it was unreal. I started taking a video of it, because I don't take many videos at concerts just because I like to, like live in the moment.
Yeah.
But I texted my dad and I texted my girlfriend that she didn't really care too much about Dave Matthews, but I was just excited to hear it.
Yeah, I mean this is something that we were hoping for. It came back, Dave and Tim, a couple years ago, and it just never got to the full band until tonight. So that's special. What else stood out to you experiencing this show tonight in Dallas?
Well, I know for sure one thing that stood out for me is that there was no repeats from last night, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there was.
Correct. No repeats from last night.
Yeah. So that was nice, which I was thinking that's about what it would be like, but sometimes there's like a couple or like 2 or 3 overlaps of songs, but it was nice to hear no repeats, and heard some more songs that I hadn't heard before. Like I've never heard Sledgehammer before, or a song that Jane likes, so it was nice hearing those. And to me, the highlight of the night, well, obviously was Kit Kat Jam. That was a highlight, but I thought Typical Situation was really good tonight. They had some good jams on it.
With Typical Situation, I'm sure you've heard Jimmy Thing. Is that correct? You've heard Jimmy Thing?
Yes.
To me, I always say, if I could replace every Jimmy Thing with a Typical Situation in a show, I'm essentially just getting the same type of jam idea. Everyone gets to hop in, but I'm getting a better version of it with Typical because it's just a better song.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I've heard Jimmy Thing like a few times at shows, and I wouldn't mind if it got shelved. Which, I mean, it's fine hearing it sometimes, but
right.
I'm not like the biggest fan of it. But I don't mind hearing that. There's not many songs that I don't mind hearing at a concert.
Right. It does get the crowd going, but Typical is just like it's Jimmy Thing on steroids, and it just has it has the darkness and it has the light all in one song. So I'm glad you were able to experience that. How was the crowd tonight compared to last night for you?
Well, so I was actually in the pit tonight, so that was my first pit experience, which was awesome. So the crowd around there was nice, but even like behind me, like I think you could definitely feel like the crowd was a lot more into it, and I think it was definitely a little bit bigger than the Woodlands. I'm not sure how much bigger it was, but I think it might be the biggest venue I've been to. But yeah, you could just tell that the crowd was like really into it, and then felt like too that they were feeding off that energy too, like more energized than last night.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, even in the same state, you just drive 3 or 4 hours one way you go from a Friday night crowd to a Saturday night crowd. I've done that with Hartford and Mansfield, where you go up to the Boston area, then you go to Hartford, or I've gone, from one city to another. And sometimes just driving a couple hours on the highway or changing the day of the week, it'll just bring out a different environment. So glad that you were able to experience that here in the pit. How were the people in the, any controversies, any people shoving, anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I did know this guy in front of me. He went to go to the bathroom and he said that like somebody was like trying to grab him to like not let him go through. But I mean, he had been there the whole time. He left. Yeah. He left kind of like midway through the show. But nothing just crazy today. I think it was a pretty good crowd, at least around me. There was some nice people around me. So had a great experience tonight in the pit.
That's awesome. Any other shows you got planned after getting these two incredible shows? Any other shows you're planning to see?
Like this summer?
Yes, this summer.
Yeah, I'm going to Austin again on Monday, and then going to Alpharetta and Charlotte, and then Orange Beach, and then going to Deer Creek both nights and SPAC both nights. So
wow,
got a pretty busy summer.
You are going to have the time of your life going to all these shows. And is this like the most shows you've ever done in a year? Given your journey?
Definitely. I did 6 last year, so okay. It's like ramped up. Well, I did like in the years before that. I did like in 22 only did 1.
Yeah. In
23 only did 1, and then in 24 only did 1. But then 6 last year and 11 this year. So it's like, like ramping up. Like I'm starting to like them a lot more than what I used to. And especially if they're doing stuff like playing Kit Kat Gym after almost 600 shows, can't beat that.
What you have to do is next year, like the college football playoff, you have to go to 24. You got to keep expanding until and then you got to go to 70. Well, there's not 76 shows. You got to go like the NCAA basketball tournament. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna ever play 76 or whatever it is, like that many shows in a year. But it's what's great about your story is you started right after the pandemic, and you found this band, you love this band, and you're expanding it. It's great to hear stories like that because we have fans listening in that have been seeing DMB since they were playing in clubs and college frat parties in the early 90s.
Yeah.
You have fans who started in the early 2000s, late 2000s, the 2010s, like me when I went to my first show. And so it's always great to see that there are more fans still expanding their tour sheet, still just, hey, I just started getting into this, but I still love this band, because it just goes to show you the impact of this band. A lot of bands in this category, DMB, a 90s band, they're losing fans. They're not getting younger fans.
Yeah.
Younger fans are not going to 5-6 shows to see a nostalgia act. So it's great to see this. But thank you, Jackson, for being on, and we'll try to have you on for some of your other tour stops.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, Marcus. You have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
All right, so that's Jackson, and appreciate him. And again, yeah, if you're a longtime fan, no matter where you are in your journey, just know there are fans every year that are continuing to discover this band and enjoy it. And maybe you've reached a point of fatigue with this band. That happens. Maybe you've been going for 20 years and it's not the same, or the price of the tickets have gone up, so you can't go to as many. But there are still fans that are just so excited and just starting out on their journeys and doing just like Jackson here, going from one show to a couple to, now 11 is what he said here. Let's go ahead. We're going to get Jess's video. I'm going to pull this up. So my friend Jess from Wisconsin, I was wondering if there would be an Alpine show this year. There is not. So she went down to Texas. She went to Houston, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, and she had some sort of conference. This year she went to Dallas, to enjoy the show here in Dallas. So she's done Houston, and now she's up in North Texas. So let's hear from her thoughts about this show. Oh, let me just reset my audio here. It is not coming through for Jess. I know you guys can't hear because it's not showing audio coming through. Let me reset this. It should just take a second. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that's the audio that's not coming through. We're going to reset this. And then now it should be able to come through. All right. Let's hear from Jess from Wisconsin.
A little bit of my thoughts about the show tonight in Dallas. Started out strong and actually missed the very beginning since I was able to grab a foil at showtime from the merch stand, so did that real fast. We were pretty far over on Buddy's side. Couldn't actually see Tim for most of the show because of our angle, so there was a whole group of people around us that would turn and look at the screen every time they put Tim up, which was kind of funny to be relatively close to the stage, but everybody watching the screen kind of behind us so that we could see Tim. Buddy was rocking a fancy vest for the heat in Dallas tonight. Lots of great surprises. Dream Girl, Kit Kat Jam. That stone closer was certainly unexpected. We thought we were going to be sneaky and strategic and order a car to come right as the show was ending, and we were gonna just like zip out at the end, and instead they started the stone, so then obviously we had to stay. But overall a really strong show. Fun crowd where we were, and that band is on fire for it being the second or third, depending on how you count, show of the tour. So can't wait to see what comes next. Yeah, hope that everybody is well. Sending love to you and your girls and baby concert vids.
All right. Thank you. That's Jess from Wisconsin. Happy Mother's Day. We'll have I'll shout everyone out at the end of this stream. All the mothers, the DMB mamas. All right. So the poster is right up there. If you guys can see that, and we'll actually get a bigger version of the poster up for you. Let me change that over. Foils were $150. Regular poster was $60 today. Jess was on Poster Watch. It did not sell out. That's typical with, it's not like, the thing is with Texas, it's not a reflective of the artist quality. The Texas shows typically just don't have the poster crowd that like they don't have the higher volume of poster lovers that a Deer Creek or a SPAC or even some of the other shows. It could be like a Detroit show out in Clarkson. It's a A1 artist and it will sell out. Like it's just one of those things. It's not a knock on Texas because not everyone's into posters. That's okay. And they were clearly into the music, as we saw, from, listening in on the stream last night. And, we'll get a bigger version of this. So this poster was created here for the Dallas show. And this comes from Status Serigraph. That's a poster designer out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And so I like the poster. Is it like one of the best poster of the year contenders? Probably not. But I like the colors. I like the Dave Matthews Band font. And I like the planets and the butterfly. And the Instagram account for this poster company had Ocean and the Butterfly playing in the IG post here. But I thought this was a cool poster. Again, it's not an out of the park contender for best poster of the year. But I think some of these posters here that may not be the best of the year, but they have these great colors. It's very, you got some cool font. I like this. And I think this is what happens when you allow various poster companies and artists, from Daniel Danger Last Night, which that is going to be arguably one of those posters to watch to see how it compares in the fan base of how like one of the best or most beloved posters of the year. Maybe it doesn't get the best, but Daniel Danger posters always are going to be beloved at the higher part of the rankings for most poster lovers specifically. So great job here with the poster. Other thing I wanted to talk about is a couple of things that I wanted to add in here. And I posted this on X. Let me pull this up. If you are new, maybe you don't know this. I only know this thanks to supporting my friends at the pod that Jane likes in one of their live podcasts. But Pantala Nagapampa has typically the majority of the band's history transitioned into Rapunzel. There are some performances in the late 90s, early 2000s where it did not transfer. Pantala Nagapampa, it's an interlude song from Before These Crowded Streets. It did not transition into Rapunzel, but the last couple of years, the song has been much more creative and it's been much more intentional. And I just want to give credit where credit is due. This is thanks to, let me go over here. This is thanks to Rodrigo Simas. He is the photographer and also he does social media for the band on occasions to help their account get post out and engage the fan base, which he's been doing a great job of the last couple of years, especially. You've seen a lot more fan engagement thanks to Rodrigo. He is from Brazil. He made a whole kind of website for Brazilian music lovers to get into DMB, and he is a great asset to the DMB community. Now, years ago, Rodrigo had this idea. He's pitched to Dave, because Dave is the one really writing these set lists with consultation from various crew members. Sometimes the musicians that play in this band and have played in this band, sometimes they may say, hey, I can't play this song, or hey, can we play this song for this reason, right? But anyway, long story short, Rodrigo had this idea, and a couple years ago, Dave decided, hey, we're going to do P&P into different songs to spice things up. And this year, P&P and the Pig was played tonight. And there were no Before These Crowded Street songs last night. I forgot to put that stat in last night's show. But it was something that was interesting about last night. I thought, hey, no Before These Crowded Street songs for a show to not have this classic album included like Friday. I think they did a good job last night for the first show, and tonight they stepped it up even more, but added Before These Crowded Streets. So that's a fun fact. Rodrigo told the public about this when he was on the pod that Jane likes, live podcast from Saratoga Springs. I believe that was in 2024. And Rodrigo will do photography for the band for a portion of the tour. It may not be an exact leg, like it may not be the first leg of the East Coast, Midwest, South, etc. But he comes on for X amount of weeks, and then he'll go back to Brazil to do certain stuff, or he'll go with another artist like Fish and do some of their tour. And so they work that scheduling out. But when he's with the band, you always have an idea that maybe he's pitching Dave something. When he's physically backstage, when he's physically doing the photography, he is communicating with Dave, and he does have an influence at times, not all the time, but at times, on what the band plays. The band trolls Rodrigo by playing Louisiana Bayou. Rodrigo dislikes only two songs from the catalog does he really just don't really dig. Come Tomorrow in Louisiana Bayou. I don't like Louisiana Bayou, so I find it funny because I've been on Rodrigo's legs of the tours and gotten Bayou, and I was like, maybe they just are trying to stick it to me because online I talk about how I don't like Bayou, but it's really Rodrigo. They literally troll Rodrigo by playing Louisiana Bayou when he's on tour with them. So just a fun fact there. But it is awesome to know more about who influences Dave. Sometimes Rab, the vocal coach for Dave, he's been on some podcasts and talked about that, how he's been able to just on occasion, not all the time, give a little input and we learned about Ian Kuhn. Some fans may have known this for years, but it came more of a thing shared when he had passed about how he influenced the set list. One of the crew members that did some of the audio, the monitor audio control for the band. So there are people in the crew that do have sometimes, not all the time, a little bit of sway in what the band does creatively, and it really goes through Dave, who writes these set lists, plans these set lists, but will take some consultation from some of his friends in the crew. The other thing I wanted to talk about here is Mercy. Some of you guys already know my pitch, but there is a Mercy. Mercy was played tonight. It's a song from Away from the World. One of the things I didn't like about this song, I thought it was kind of boring. It is fun to play, but the traditional performances of Mercy, it's just this same repeating part of da, 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 da. And Dave used to play it before Buddy joined the band. But to me, it's too boring. Okay? It's too boring. There was one performance of Mercy. This was on March 6th, 2019 in Germany. And about 3 minutes and about 55 seconds into the song, instead of going in that traditional outro you may have heard tonight if you were at the Dallas show, Buddy does something really cool. He goes into an A major transition, and they start jamming in A major. A flat major. Sorry, A flat major or G sharp major, either or, however you want to label it. And it's much more upbeat, and it's a lot of fun. So you get a song talking about, hey, we're trying to, we want peace and just have mercy, have love, be the answer. And it doesn't end on that. It ends on this more upbeat little jam. And the jam is inspired or interpolating grazing in the grass, right? It's a song, a well-known song, and it's kind of interpolating that because it's also in that G sharp. So they pretty much are pulling that inspiration from that song and kind of transitioning Mercy into a grazing in the grass interpolation. Did not happen tonight. I want to play a little clip of that so you guys can hear that. Here is where the transition starts. I'm at 3 minutes and 48 seconds on this this song that's on. This was put onto YouTube, but this performance was also put on a Warehouse disc, a fan club disc for the Warehouse Fan Club Association. Let's listen to this transition, which is different from tonight. Oops, let me just get the audio ready as well. and it was never played again. In typical DMB fashion, they make a great outro, a great reprise. They never play it again. I would love to see it come back. I made a whole video on YouTube about it, but that just gives you what's awesome about it. So it's like, yo, this is great. That, like, I've never seen a band, and listen, I love this band. They've come up with some great ideas live, and they don't play it ever again like that. And I'm like, guys, that was great. I wish my throwaways or my throwaway ideas and creativity was as great as what DMB does once and never does again. But it should come back again. Maybe one day we will get it back again. You never know. Just like tonight, Mercy came back after hitting the gorge. Before that, it hadn't been played full band for a while. Kit Kat Jam comes back. Dream Girl full band comes back for the first time, I believe, since 24. Someone says, please replace Watchtower with that. Yeah, I would rather hear this than Watchtower, but Watchtower does get a lot of crowd. I always say this. I don't need to ever hear another DMB Watchtower cover, but it does get the crowd, especially in Texas, which leads me to my next point, which is for these shows, if you're watching from other parts of the country, talking to people, getting replies on Twitter from people who have been here the last couple of days. Some of these big moments that we love at home, that as deep cut lovers, or maybe just longtime fans, happy a song is back. Fans in Texas have gone to the bathroom. That's not a bad thing per se. It's just, people have gone to the bathroom. People have been quiet. People have been confused. Someone on Twitter today said, hey, Kit Kat Jam is played. She was going nuts, and the people around her were like, what's this? What's this now? Right. And that's okay. But I always say moments like tonight's show, people who never heard Kit Kat Jam that maybe just know the hits are going to go look it up. And if it ever is played at a show they go to, they'll appreciate it more. You can't appreciate the deep cuts if they're not ever played and they're shelved forever. And for everyone who wants a new album, which I don't think we need, there's tons of songs that could be re-explored and come back and be reinvented with the current lineup. Like you saw that Mercy you just heard from me, that was reinvented in 2019 from a song that in 2012 and 2013 put people to sleep. It's a beautiful song, but those outro jams put people to sleep. People went to the bathroom. People left. People were talking, right? People were trying to get phone numbers during that Mercy outro jam that took forever. And it went from that to that A flat major or G sharp major, grazing in the grass, interpolation progression. So there you have it. All right, we're over an hour here. I think I've said everything I need to say. But I do want to just close out. We're going to close out with Joyride because the last Kit Kat Jam was in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Couple of reasons I want to play this. First, we're going to play a video of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge drive I did with Joyride in the background. But Virginia is home for my father's side of the family. Both of my grandparents, my dad's parents, are still alive and kicking, 91 and 90. I'm blessed to have them. But that is home. But there are, my grandmother who just turned 90 earlier this year. My mother, my mother-in-law, my wife, the wonderful women in my life. I am thankful for them and the great mothers they have been. And when I go to Virginia every year, I haven't been the last 2 years with my son, but I go and visit my grandmother's cousins. She has two. We've lost a couple of them, but she has two that are still alive. One is 92, and the other one's in the late 80s. But I love they're wonderful mothers themselves. My great grandmother, who I actually she passed away when I was in freshman year of college. I got to know her, but I'm thankful for the women in my life. And for many of you guys out there, all the mothers out there watching these post-show streams, you guys are incredible people as well, balancing different things. Jess, who you saw in the post-show stream, she was out in Houston or Dallas tonight. But a couple weeks ago, she was on a trip with her daughter, Olivia, and it was like over 100 kids for a show choir competition. They drove from Wisconsin to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and she was a chaperone for all these kids, hundreds of kids. There was only so many parents chaperoning this thing, and they had to drive from Wisconsin to Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. And that is Jess. She is not only a mother to her children, but she's a mother to all children of her family, friends, other people in the community. And many of the mothers, growing up in my neighborhood, they were mothers to everybody, right? Some of these mothers babysat me when my mom and my dad were out to work. But thank you to all the mothers out there. Dave lost his mother, I believe it was early last year. And so I know the last Mother's Day and this Mother's Day, I only can imagine it's not easy. But I've met so many of you guys, the DMB mamas on the road, from Renee out there in Southern Connecticut to, I call her DMB Granny Sandra out there in just south of Indianapolis. Who else? Deb, who's out there, and I think she's in Tri-Cities part of Washington. She's out in Tri-Cities, Washington. She has all these amazing grandkids and daughters that have she's raised and helped and supported. Who else? Many other countless mothers. I'm trying to think of some of the other. Robin's on here. Happy Mother's Day to you, Robin. I know you've taken your daughter to shows, your adult daughter to shows, but many of you guys have been great parts of this community, and you've brought your children. Trying to think of some other mothers. Of course, I'm drawing a blank now, but thank you to all the mothers out there in the DMB community who love and support others. Jess, shout out to Jess from, I think she's out there in Rhode Island, and her daughter and her son, who are lucky to have her. Who else I'm trying to think of? Anyway, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We'll end with Joyride. This weekend has been a joyride. Just being able to see what this band has been doing on Sirius XM and on the Couch Tour. Shout out to Aaron Holly for getting the Couch Tour live streams both nights. We played a little bit of his last night. And we appreciate the work he does. He's one of the Couch Tour admins there. But happy Mother's Day. If you're mourning the loss of your mother, if you missed your mother for decades, we also are thinking of you. But when I think of this country, from the other side of my family, my mom's mother, a teenager who had gotten married and had a infant child in a segregated train car and went from Georgia to Connecticut to find a better life. My late grandfather had just gotten a job up here in Connecticut, and he said, listen, drop everything in Georgia. You got to leave. There was a lot of challenging hurdles she had. Many of your grandmothers, many of your mothers came over through Ellis Island or came over from leaving a war-torn country and sought asylum in America and found a better life. And they had to take their children with them on a boat with limited possessions or on a plane with limited possessions. The mothers in our lives that there support us, the mothers who have stepped in the absent of maybe if your mother was your biological mother wasn't there or they passed away early, those grandmothers who have stepped in for their daughters who have passed away too soon. We thank you all. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. We'll close this thing out, but happy Mother's Day to all.
Gone on like a dog with the television on. Staring blankly at the screen the way you do. I keep you there and your money too. If you all line up inside of here, do what I tell you and everything'll be okay. And if you you're lost, I got a bobblehead Jesus. Get on your knees, that Jesus, I please ya. The money is clean, 'cause we scrub it good. With guns and gasoline, we could save the world. Nothing's obscene if we only close our eyes. Boys and girls, welcome to this joyride. Come on, all of you won't have to lie. Get in line and everything will be fine. We got toss our trouble to the wind. We beat them all like we did in the end. The money is clean, 'cause we scrub it good. With guns and gasoline, I'm gonna save the world. Nothing's obscene if we only close our eyes. Boys and girls, welcome to this joyride. 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 Alright. Coming up a little song says get by. Taking everything into account the way you should. Line it up, 'cause to be so good.